So we're going a bit off-piste here with a ruined castle, but I love castles as well, and we often visit a lot of them, so I thought I would include it on my channel. Why not, hey? And as we all love Ed Sheeran, I do, I decided to include this one. So here we have Framlingham Castle, the famous castle that old Mr. Sheeran sung about in his song Castle on the Hill. This castle is amazingly preserved for its age. The one that you're seeing here is a 12th century stone curtain wall. So the land was in the hands of Hugh Bigod, the first Earl of Norfolk, in around 1177, but this wall was built under a successor of a Roger Bigod II, excuse the dog lead there, I did have the dog with me, on the 1221. So, and that's the one that you see today. Now, Roger Bigod II was in with the royals, King John. He entertained him at the castle. But by 1215, their relations had soured and they challenged the high military taxes levied by King John and forced him to accept the Magna Carta. So this made King John not very happy at all. So he laid siege to Framlingham in 1216, and after 2 days, the castle and all its occupants in it surrendered. However, after it was surrendered, King John did not have long to live, and Framlingham was restored to the Bigods following his death. The castle has changed hands many times over the centuries until it finally came into the Howard family. Thomas Howard is the Duke of Norfolk, was the Duke of Norfolk, and he added a lot to it in the 15th century. Henry VIII then went on to seize Framlingham Castle, and later Edward the V1, so that's sixth, gave it to his sister, the future Queen Mary. It was at Framlingham here that Mary waited for the news of King Henry VIII's death. Mary then gave the castle back to the Howards, but it was then seized by Elizabeth I. It was used by Elizabeth as a prison for Catholic priests, but upon her death, as history repeats itself, it was then returned to the Howards. Finally, in 1635, Framlingham was sold to Sir Robert Hitcham. After his death, it was used as a poorhouse, and later on it was used to house victims of the plague. It has been used as a courthouse, drill hall, workhouse, fire station, meeting hall, before it passed into the hands of English Heritage. They now work tirelessly to preserve the castle. So as you can see, the curtain wall is the main attraction here. It is the most intact curtain wall example we have here in Britain. You can walk round the wall. It's called the walk. I'll get there in a minute. Wall work. Well, nope, wall walk, for goodness sake. You can walk around the entire circuit of it, and the wall has 13 towers, and you can go through each tower that is surrounded by railings, so you know it's perfectly safe to do so. And it has the most amazing views across the countryside. There's not a lot to see inside the walls. Sadly, the medieval buildings have disappeared. Many of them fell into disrepair. The one remaining hall that we're going to see, which is now used as a museum, and this used to be the poorhouse, which was built in 1729. You can see the Castle Mere, which is a deep lake, wetland, and the expanse of water is about 3,000 years old. So as I said, it's located in East Anglia, and it's always been important for agriculture here, particularly for the production of wool. It was good place as it was placed close to London. It's only a couple of hours drive from the city, or about a day or two riding back then. It had many well-linked sea routes to France and the European mainland. This all helped to mark the settlement of Framlingham as a particularly wealthy area. It is thought that the basement of the western tower was likely turned into a prison. Unlike many medieval castles, Framlingham does not have a central stronghold or a tower which is called a keep. If the castle had been attacked, it would be purely reliant on the 13 towers and the curtain wall to keep any intruders out. So from the top of the tower walls you could see any attackers approaching, and before they'd even reach the castle they would have to navigate the adjacent mere that I previously mentioned. Surrounding the castle there was a deep ditch too. This still remains and can be seen today, although it was never filled with water, but it would have hindered any attacker who tried to approach. So it wouldn't be me if I didn't have coffins involved. In the attic of this castle, when the poorhouse was in use, they used to have the attic floor was a blocked off hatch, and this was used as a coffin chute from the dormitory. As you can imagine, many people died in poorhouses, so they had to have a way of getting them down the stairs quickly and quietly. This is a coffin bear. I have mentioned these before, which is what was used to pull or push the coffins to the churchyard.